So with the Seven of Cups reversed, what we see is that options were presented, and that instead of choosing an option that might work for everybody, a choice was made that would work for one person in particular. They went with their gut instinct, for example. Now, are we able to see who went with their gut instincts? Let's just see. Now, we don't see an individual here, but we see a message is coming out at one, again, of choices. And that a choice was made that it might have been something that didn't sit well, that wasn't right, that ultimately was a bad decision, and that certain actions were taken to cover that up and hope that it didn't get discovered, etc. So perhaps in this instance, maybe the submersible wasn't fit for deep sea diving, and somebody made a choice to go ahead with it, even though they knew that it wasn't the safe one for other people. So again, can we maybe get a card suggesting who made this choice or what this choice was? So who made this choice? So the Knight of Pentacles. This is somebody who's very methodical, somebody who's working methodically towards achieving their goals. It's not an older person, so I wouldn't say that they had achieved their goals. It's somebody that's hardworking, practical, somebody that would provide for their family, loving, etc. So I don't think necessarily, even though we do see that there might have been a bad choice made for themselves and others, that they themselves might not have been a bad person. So allow me to inquire more about this bad choice. Okay, let me inquire about this bad choice. What bad choice was made? So the Page of Wands is somebody who's young, who's a hard worker. This is a tad bit confusing. So this decision that was made would have impacted somebody who was young. So perhaps this was the youngest gentleman, the 19-year-old boy, whose name I can't quite remember. Perhaps this refers to him, because I know that his stepfather was on the submersible with him, and oftentimes the Page of Wands will become like the King of Wands, just with practice, with time, etc. So whatever this decision would have negatively impacted this little boy. Again, can I give further clarification here about this decision? Let's see. So the Empress, the King of Wands, the Ace of Wands. Okay, so when we see here further, we see that this decision that was made was done, I would suggest, by the father or the stepfather of the young lad. This decision was made by the King of Wands to get in touch with nature, because from what I understand, he was very much fascinated by the Titanic, that it was almost a dream for him to do this, to go see the Titanic, and that this call to nature was very strong. So I see that this bad decision was in relation to his desire to get in touch with the Titanic, like the lure of the Titanic, to see it, to feel it. And the Ace of Wands is more of when it's reversed, it's a card of timing. Like, it's just bad timing. It's almost like a warning. This wasn't the time now to do this. Because upright, it would be a card that would almost be like encouraging you to follow your dreams. But where it's reversed, it would suggest that the timing is just not right, that now is not the time to go ahead and do it. The Page of Cups, what we see is that there was an opportunity that was presented to them. So I don't know if they had this planned for some time, and it just kind of, like, the father, the stepfather, he had this desire to go see the Titanic, and an opportunity presented itself to him to go see it, and he just jumped on it. But there was something in him that was telling him, maybe not, maybe this isn't a good time, maybe it's not, but that he went ahead with it all the same. With the Ten of Cups, maybe this was supposed to have been a bonding experience for them, because I understand that this happened around Father's Day, so I'm not sure if this was a Father's Day present, bring your son along to go fulfill your dream. And I see that there was a lack of agreement. Maybe there was a fight or an argument. There were just two different ideals crashing together. So perhaps the son didn't want to go, but the dad did. and there was a clash. Now I see that there was a choice that was made, but maybe the intuition was with the Sun. Maybe the Sun knew that something was wrong. It didn't feel right. With the Page of Pentacles, we see that there would have been like a need to recharge your batteries. You're following a path in life that excites you, that you were passionate about, but it's become work. So you just need to take a pause for a second, do something that you love with somebody that you love, and recharge your batteries. And here we see, like with the Empress as well, that there is this craving, this need to be, to follow your passion and to get in tune with Mother Nature. And that this would have been the dad who did that, but that there was like this intuitive sense that now wasn't the time. The Knight of Pentacles. Can we inquire the Knight of Pentacles, this methodical, or this loving individual who's a good provider, etc., for his family? Can we inquire more about him? Okay. So we see with the Hermit that it's almost more like the Knight of Pentacles. There's a British billionaire. If I had to guess, maybe it would be this gentleman, because a loving father, a loving family man, for instance. And we see that there was a call to him, that he received like this calling to retreat inside and grow spiritually, and even take a journey with like a group of like-minded individuals. So I'm not sure that perhaps he didn't sense that this journey was his destiny, and that the answers that he sought would only come from this isolation and going beneath. This is a card of like going inside yourself, but I would almost even think that it's not just going inside of himself, but we are talking a submersible that went into the Atlantic Ocean. I might be inclined to think that maybe it might also refer to the Atlantic Ocean, that the answers that he was seeking would be found with a like-minded group of people on a journey that may have a tragic end, which I think there's a chance he might have known about intuitively. So you see the Father and the Son, and we see possibly the billionaire. What about Mr. Rush? Can we see more? Mr. Rush. We see the money cycle here reversed. Perhaps, even though he was wealthy, perhaps at this moment he was experiencing financial difficulties. And I have heard that he may have purchased discounted items for the submersible, so I'm not sure if this is a reflection here. Let's inquire further. This would suggest giving in to your most basic urges. Perhaps the urges that aren't beneficial to anybody else, but the urges that are so strong you couldn't possibly resist them even if you wanted to. Okay, so we see would we be able to find out more about these baser instincts? Here, let me see. Okay, so this shows that upright, it would indicate a man that's working for his community, putting in hard work that would benefit his community. But we see the opposite here. So I think that when we specifically ask about Mr. Rush, we see money, like a lack of money, giving into your baser instincts, working hard towards something that is not going to benefit your community. So I think that we're seeing a pattern here with Mr. Rush of cutting corners financially, and the result would be something that didn't benefit his community. For example, the implosion of the sub wouldn't have benefited, future explorations to the Titanic, or it might eventually have a benefit to deep sea diving in that it might create regulations, but time will tell on that. And because I'm running short on time, I'm going to inquire about Mr. Norgiole, if I'm mangling his name correctly. And apologies for that. My French is not my specialty. Here, let me see. Okay. So we see a gentleman that has picked up the slack for other people. Something was difficult, and while everybody else was walking away, he picked up the pieces. And Queen of Pentacles. And it's somebody who has worked very hard throughout their life to create like a safe, a safety blanket for themselves. You know, they have abundance in their life, but it's through hard work throughout their life. It's somebody that is very loving and nurturing, like a motherly figure. It's not necessarily a female, I have to specify, but that way that mothers are with their children. You know, they can take care of things with, you know, almost instinctual, and they do it out of love, not wanting something in return. So again, we see that that he would have picked up the slack when other people found it just way too difficult to carry on. And this hard work would have paid off financially for him. Who dropped the ball here? Can I see? Oh, so let us inquire as to the situation of him picking up people's slack. Let's see, quickly inquiring. Oh. Okay, I don't like seeing that card, but it's not a bad card. You know, it's like the winter. You know, things have to come to an end in order to be reborn. So perhaps in the final moments, there would have been, so I think, if I'm understanding correctly, Mr. Rush might have been piloting the submersible, but perhaps there was some sort of a reason why there would have been occasion where Mr. Nargile would have perhaps taken over. And no, I don't know. I'm not gonna confirm that. I don't know. Okay, so finally, is there anything that we should know? Okay, so we see love, and it's Mr. Hamish, or I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know if this is specifically for somebody, but I see love, great love, and coupled with this gentleman of, you know, this would have been family love, you know, whether it's with a wife or their children or with their friends, there's a deep love here.